Hello, it's been about 3 weeks since I uploaded my last devlog, and in this one we will go through some of the biggest improvements I've made to the game. We will cover the lock-on system, the damage and blocking mechanics, the save system, and finally some fixes to enemy hit reactions. So let's get started. One of the things that was really bothering me was the lock-on system. It wasn't working well and I had a lot of trouble making the enemy health bar appear when locking on. At first I tried a few basic approaches, but none of them worked. I even asked ChatGPT, but I still couldn't quite understand how to make it functional. Then, kind of by accident, I found a useful note in the blueprint. The lock-on system relies on finding the BP lock-on target inside the enemy's components, and once I set the right target references, everything finally started to work. Now the lock-on system feels so much better, and as you can see I fixed the camera position. Next up was the damage and blocking system. I added cheap damage, which means that even when you block an attack, you still take a small amount of damage based on your shield's defense. This makes combat feel more tense and balanced, since you can't just block forever without any consequences. But there was also a huge issue with the old blocking system. The player could block attacks even when standing with their back to the enemy. To fix this, I used an approach I found in an Unreal University course. The block now only works if the player is actually facing the attack. Together with the cheap damage, this makes combat feel much more fair and fun to play. Another thing that I wanted to add was a proper delete save game system. The bundle I'm using already had saving and loading, but there was no way to delete a saved game. At first I thought it was going to be simple, just delete the save name in slot. And it worked, kind of. The save was deleted, but whenever I created a new game it went into the wrong slot, instead of filling the empty one. It even got to that point where the load game button wasn't visible at all, because the game didn't recognize any saves. After struggling with this for a while, and I mean a while, I finally understood how the slot system works. By connecting the right slot index into the update function, the saves now delete and reassign correctly. The last thing I worked on were enemy hit reactions. In the original bundle, enemies didn't really react to getting hit. I reworked hit reaction system so that now enemy play animation when they get hit. I also fixed a bug where enemies when got hit entered the parried state. Now everything feels way smoother and combat finally looks like it should. So that's all the progress I've made over the past few weeks. I'm really happy with how the systems are starting to come together. If you enjoyed this devlog, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and maybe sharing it with a friend who likes games like Souls-likes. Thanks for watching and I see you next one.